Welcome boys and girls to another video. So remember, I'm just a dude on the internet. I know nothing. You will get wrecked if you listen to me. So we all know that our ecosystem has been rallying beautifully. We've got 9 green candles on the chart. It feels great. We've been talking about some of the indicators on Pulse. We're well inside the cloud over here. Drop me your coin suggestions in the chat, or you can do it on Twitter. Either way, it doesn't matter. And I'll get to them as I see them. But firstly, we'll cover the main ecosystem coins. We are inside this cloud. We can expect a move to the upside, as I've said recently. The top of this is coincidentally right at the sack rate. There's a few days, I think tomorrow left before it starts moving down. So this is resistance that's slowly moving down. We've got the cross, we've got the price above the chart, above the price action. Do we get the move all the way to the 9,000 level? It'd be interesting to see what happens here. The indicators are very, very overextended, although we don't have bearish divergences. So this can continue for a while. It's just we're moving sideways. If we put on the hourly chart, we can see we're still moving sideways here. We're really not breaking down just yet. We're chilling above this peak back here, which is good to see. We're also creating some higher lows here. You can see the W's in there in the chart. So it's holding up really, really well. I'm not going to start getting bearish here, although this isn't the prettiest candle, but if Bitcoin continues to hold up on this level, now it's selling off a little bit. You should see Bitcoin also on the daily chart, very, very high on the RSI. But I expect this 31,000 area to be held. Even if we move sideways here, that would be bullish for the altcoins. This has been an exceptional run, right? So don't be surprised if we do get a pullback, because fast moves like these like to retrace. This is our breakout level here at 4,621. And if we pull up the fib tool, we can also see that this coincides with the 61.8 over here, which is the golden ratio. Let's do a volume analysis to see where that points to. Inside of the at 4,000. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen now. This can take a few weeks to play out. This will also nicely reset our indicators because I mean that's exceptionally high at 85.88 on Pulse Chain. So I wish it would just stay here forever. That would be great. But we do need for it maybe to do a pullback eventually. I don't know when it's going to happen. I would love for it to just go higher. Everybody on Twitter is very, very euphoric. So that's also concerning. But I want to be the party pooper. But I mean, this has been a really good run. We've broken out of these levels. And we can maybe do a measured move to see where, if these targets has already, yeah, I mean, all of these targets has been fulfilled. There's a larger W here that we can do a measured move of. Now this is this the log chart? That's fine. You can see that target has already been hit. Then we can also do chaos levels, which is fib extensions, and that has already perfectly been hit. The 2.618, which is only your first target. I mean, there's more targets up here. Let me just see if this is on the log chart. Okay, so it's disabled now. The first target was back here. The second target is the 9,000 area. So we're actually above that level. There's another fib we can do here. And I mean, we're also above that level, so all of this looks pretty good. So that is, remember, this can spend a lot of time here. This is the bullish control zone on the RSI. I mean, as long as it stays in here, that's still quite bullish because it's the bullish control zone, unless you start falling below 50. If we look for resistance levels, this is probably like the 50 hitting us now. Yeah, it's not even the 50 really. I mean, from the bounce we got from the SEC dump, this is the short reload zone. So you don't really want to start creating M's in this area on the shorter time frames. Well, we're not doing that, right? It's not really breaking down. The M is the opposite of a W, right? So something like this. But we're creating the opposite. We're creating like still higher lows here. If we can just continue to consolidate in these areas, get the lower time frames on the RSI nice and down, we could see a move more to the upside. And I don't want this candle to close like this. This is a doji candle. But I mean, there's no reason to be going and shorting this chart on fiat, on fame, right? Just where I am accumulating for 2025. So I mean, if you were to sell here and it goes down like a few, that is where you need to know how to manage risk. You can't be selling your whole portfolio here, right? You need to risk very small percentages if that is something that you're good at and you know what you're doing. So Pulse X also heading into this short location. RSI very, very high. We haven't been this high on the daily yet. So we got really, really oversold. We're now at the top of this range. Maybe this is the target here. Maybe we reverse. Either way, let's see where the reload zone is, if this is our top. Exactly at the breakout point, right? This is your breakout point. This is called a sign of strength if the market is to come down and retest this area and finds it as support. That is called a sign of strength in Wyckoff theory. Still very, very bullish, still very healthy. And we can continue higher from there. This will then create this massive W that you see here. And that will actually show up on the weekly time frame as well. Very, very healthy. And maybe something to look out for, right? So I know everybody is excited, right? But it's still a long road ahead. Let's just stay on the path. And I mean, this is a beautiful breakout, right? You can see the beautiful double bottom here, the rounding pattern that we have here. And once again, the longer we spend time moving sideways, creating higher lows, which is market structure, the higher the move to the upside can be. On the weekly time frames, I mean, the RSI is still in the extreme sold areas. So there's no reason on the higher time frames to be getting bearish here. I mean, there's so much upside and so much momentum that can get into this chart here and just push us higher. EHEX, once again, RSI very, very high, hey? Really, we rallied off the V bottom here. The 61.8 is at this 5,000 area. Let's see if there's some confluence at these levels. So some nice acted as support. Recently found support, broke down, acted as resistance, fell through. So that would be a powerful level if we were to go and retest it. Let's look at the hex ratio. I actually wanted to quickly look at the pulse X versus pulse ratio. So it's broken out. This measured move takes you to 0.289. That's also the 0.236 area. So we might get resistance there. Getting in the oversold areas, but not really any divergences to speak of, right? And pulse rallying like this will put pressure on some of the altcoins, and when we get to them, we'll see on the price charts on their PLS ratios, because we trade them against PLS, right? We want to farm more PLS. So this is the ratio. Broke out, now retraced quite a lot. And this was what I've been saying, right? For the market to come down and retest its breakout levels, it's very, very natural. And you can see how beautifully it's come down to retest those levels. And if we pull up the Fib tool, we can see how it bounced off the 61.8. Let me just remove the 50%. Beautifully off the 61.8, retesting these levels. Now I want to see this move sideways at these areas. Hold this ratio. So it does look like everything wants to slow down and cool down a little bit, which would be healthy. This was our range for a very long time. We now have a new range established up here. PHEX up 40% on the day. I don't think the day has ticked over just yet. You can see the beautiful double bottom here. Now this is the weekly chart. Even like a triple bottom. And off we went. Broken out now. I'm just going to remove everything. So the RSI on this one is getting to 50, which is interesting. Let's look at Rapid Pulse. So this has now made a new all-time high versus Rapid Pulse. So ABIT continues to be correct in his opinion that this will continue to outperform Pulse. You might have been right, but you should have been right early, right back here, because these are the nosebleed sections. Doesn't mean it's gonna reverse right now. It just tells you that you've kind of missed the boat, right? You need to wait for a pullback. If that pullback ever comes to these reload zones, that's where you should be interested. You can't be chasing it up here like people sold their hex ratios at the top, right? You need to wait for it to come back. We can see some nice confluence even here, as this was the breakout level. Resisted once, resisted twice, a few candles hitting the head on that roof, and off we went. And the new range established, and we've got new all-time highs here. So Hex on Pulse continues to perform really, really well. Like I said on Matty's Twitter space last night, it seems like EHEX led the way first, and then everything moved after that. I'm not going to say that the profits moved into the other coins, but it kind of let people know that something's going on in this ecosystem. You might want to take a look. Incentive token 1.46, so a nice rally off the bottom, just a straight V bottom. If this was to come down to the 61.8, it would be the 1.115. We can take a look at the RSI. Let's see what's going on here. Oversold, right? This needs to pull back a little bit. We had nice bullish divergences here, telling you. I mean, we talked about all of these things. Like, I probably sounded like a broken record. Prices going down, indicators going higher. Boom, here's your move. But this move has played out now. We need for it to come back here. I shouldn't say it's played out now, like it sounds like I'm saying that it's over. I don't know. Like, I'm not in the game of predicting. I just wait for my targets to be hit. Anyway, I'm selling my incentive rewards for Pulse X and Pulse, and compounding the gains into that. So beats, I mean, we can go this. I've got so many on this chart, so I'm not going to do all of them. I mean, this chart looks nice. You've got nice rounding bottom here. But like I said on your PLS ratios, many of your favorite meme coins will be breaking their lows here. That's just the name of the game. As Pulse asserts itself. That's why we want to take profits into a volatile asset, our main holdings. That's why I always say sell halves on doubles into PLS. Then you've gotten all that gains that we had in this mini pulse season running, right? While the altcoins and the meme coins are making new lows. Let's look at our beloved kick. Let's take off the log chart. Let's remove everything. So the last few days, yeah, we've also made new lows here, which is to be expected. This is some of the lowest RSI prints that we've ever had on Kick. But what is really, really positive is that although the RSI is the lowest it's ever been, we are well still, even if we just disregard the launch, we're well higher than we were back here. So that tells you that's bullish divergence, right? As the price is higher, 5x higher, yet the RSI has totally reset. This is what opportunity looks like, right? 50% of the supply is locked. The other 50% is in the LP, which is also locked. There is no one, everybody had a fair chance because I launched this. As soon as I launched this, I put it on Twitter literally the same minute. I didn't pre-mine this nut at all, just as organic as it can be. And these price charts are really healthy. You've got nice expansions, nice retracements, giving people a chance to get back in. I mean, we can do a volume analysis, and I even think we're probably either at the point of control, just slightly above the point of control. This is where most of the volume was traded. These coins tend to want to come back to these areas. Let's quickly take a look at PHUX. A lot of FUD they're receiving in the past few days. People don't like a buck. This not well. This is very low liquidity, but most of the liquidity trades on PHUX, the exchange itself. Although we don't have charts for balancer forks just yet. This is just like a rounding bottom, right? Continues to bleed slowly to the downside. The positive here is that the RSI is the lowest that it's ever been, that it's printed on this chart. So yeah, nothing really getting me excited here unless we start seeing some nice higher lows. I don't really think it should be interesting at all. I'm gonna do Granny and then we'll get to your charts. So if your altcoin is holding up value versus PLS after this massive rally, you're doing really well. Just gonna refresh that. For some reason it's not. Okay, there we go. So all of these coins kind of look like this, right? As Pulse really asserts itself, right? We can, I'm just putting on the log scale so we can get to the bottom and the highs. Yeah, so that's not helpful at all. Yeah, so we do have bullish divergence, 38. So price is lower, yet the indicator is still higher. This still needs a little bit of time to move sideways, get people to give up on this coin, and then have its nice run. You can see with Cake, what Cake did is after it bottomed, it did its 90% retracement, slowly built up its market structure, and then ran and did a 48x versus, I don't want to lie, so let's just make sure that was accurate. I think it did a 48x off its lows. That is why the granny wants to hit her low. She doesn't have to get it perfectly. She can just wait, nibble as it goes lower. Let's switch to wrap pulse and see what the gains was off its lows. Just put on the log chart so we can get the low over here. It actually bottomed quiet relatively quickly before it rallied off again. It just seems like, yeah, so that's a 48x versus PLS. Just has a lot more weak hands to get rid of, which is fine. The longer it spends time moving sideways here, the better. Okay. Shout out to the Tang Gang, to Spooky. Thanks for the super chat. With that, we'll just go ahead and look at Hoa. Let's audit the hex orange address. Let's switch to rapid pulse. Like I've said, most things will kind of have a little bit. I'm not going to miss this reload zone again. No way in hell. Like even too spooky. I don't think you were here last time I bragged about that I gave the bottom call like before it even bottomed, and I never actually took that trade, stupidly enough. Well, it's coming down nicely now, which I'm excited about. I'm getting a little bit excited here. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start nibbling at the 61.8. Put in a small percentage there, expecting it to go lower to get a little bit more, and I'm going to chuck it in there. And then at the red line, I'm going to put in more. And if we are as lucky as to get it below 88% down from the top, I'm going to get more there. We can see that we had some bearish divergences here. Price going higher, yet the indicator went lower. So that was a little bit of a warning. And this is actually what I want to see on Hex and Pulse X, but we don't have that at all. We don't have this bearish divergences yet. You're not always going to get it, especially if you had a very, very aggressive move to the upside. So yeah, very, very healthy. Pulse has been asserting itself, rallying very strong. So many of the altcoins will hold their USD value, but their pulse value would kind of suffer under a bit of the pressure, which is totally normal. This happens exactly the same as Bitcoin as well. As Bitcoin rallies, the altcoins that are paired with it on the exchanges hold their USD value, but their BTC pairings tend to fade, pushing up the Bitcoin dominance. So yeah, this is where I'm interested. Don't front run me. I want some in these areas down here. Let's mark that box for you. You can also see how much confluence is at this level. The 78.6 level was resistance for a while, popped off, found support on these levels, broke through, bottomed out below the 78.6 level, popped up. So, and not only that, we see that most of the volume was also traded in this area, just below the 78.6 level, right at this area where there was a lot of accumulation happening. So it does look like Pulse does want to go a little bit higher, putting more pressure on some of the altcoins. Shout out to the Tangan. Thanks for the super chat, dude. Very healthy, right? You've got market structure down here. This is a beautiful W. This is your sign of strength on Wyckoff theory, the retest of 41. Although it's still 50% down from here, this is what the market looks like over time, like I've told you guys before in the past, right? It looks like this over time. And every time it retests these areas, retest that area, that is sign of strength for the chart to move to the upside. Okay, so let's get to the notifications. So really not a lot of engagement today. Maybe I was a bit quick on letting you guys know, but either way, no one wants to have their charts looked at. That's funny because everybody is looking at their charts and seeing red versus their pulse bearings, and they're not interested. All of the attention is on the main ecosystem coins. What's up, UFO to go Finbear? We did check out EX and BX ratio for you. I mean, we came all the way up to 95. what was this, 92, 0.92, just before parity. And it's funny, just like when all of us e-hexers got really mouthy, boom, you got rejected. But still an amazing run, and it front ran the whole move. So we thank e-hex for that. Too spooky with the oranges in the house. Thoughts on Monad? It's the biggest LP with BBTC. I think I have Monad money here. Is this? Yeah, it is the same thing. 31k liquidity. Wrap versus Wrap BTC. Against Wrap BTC. So as BTC goes down, this will pull this chart down as well. So over here, if you had some wrapped BTC, you should be selling some of it for Monad money here. As Monad money is, I don't know if this is the right way around. Sometimes I get confused. Yeah, this is where you should be getting some Monad money if you are interested in swapping some for wrapped BTC. Now it's paired versus wrapped BTC, so it's going to be a little bit of a volatile pair. Either way, even on the USD value, it's cheap. But unless the Teddy Atropa ecosystems rally, I don't think this is going to catch a bid until then. Yeah, RH coins are on fire lately. WhatsApp 10% burned already, only 20k, 20k WhatsApp placeholders left. Rare as a rocking horse, shit or not. I have a WhatsApp, and I'm holding on to it to at least 2025. Just for fun, what are your long-term conservative price predictions for PLS like mid-2025? It's an interesting question. So down 3% now while we're streaming here. So I really don't know why I'm having lag today. I'm going to close some of these tabs. So the scandal is red now. Either way, if we get to this pullback here, it's going to be healthy, right? It's going to give some of the altcoins another chance to rally. So the only thing we can do, and like you said, this is only going to be for fun, is we can do fib retracements or extensions from our top. And I think most of us agree that this probably was the bottom, right? So let's just find the bottom of pulse chain. So from the high to the top, this gives you your extensions to the top here. And these are the chaos levels. There's supposed to be another one, 8.66. And a 16. Let me just make sure. Because I have the settings saved over here. So 8.77. I think 8.77 is enough. We don't have to go that high. Do you want conservative? Conservative price targets. So my first conservative target would be 7x from the sacrifice rate. 0.0, 3 zeros and a 7. That's a 7x from the sacrifice rate. From the ultimate bottom, that's a 20x. But that's conservative, right? Then we need to start looking at these areas up here. 0.0012. So that's a 12x from sac rate, right? From the bottom, let's just put this on a weekly chart. That's a 36x from the bottom. And then you're going to start getting into these wild targets. 002 from the bottom This is 66x. From the sacrifice rate, which is at 1, this is the sac rate here. That's a 21x from the sac rate. And would you guys be happy with these extensions? A 21x from the sac rate. I think I'd be relatively happy with that. So yeah, I think those are my conservative targets. What you can do is sell 10% on each level, or maybe a bit of a larger percentage. Some people will sell 50% at those levels, leave 50% in the market, sell another 50%, or you can do a time analysis and sell when maybe the buy cycle top hits. Generally, the altcoins stop a month after the buy cycle top in Bitcoin. Let me show you guys the buy cycle top. It's a very popular indicator. Let's put it on the weekly. Called the top when Richard Hart called it in 2017. It perfectly called the top. Called the top the month after in 2013, and a small top here on the week in 2013. But the altcoins tend to top after this. Let's just pull up something like X over here and compare the price charts. X topped out, but this is where you need to figure out your strategy before the time. What your profit taking is going to look like. That's 22 weeks after. I mean, that's way more than the pi cycle top. That's how many months is that? That's 5 months afterwards. Let's put up the Bitcoin dominance to show us where, wrong one, BTC.D. This will show us when the altcoin stopped in general. So the pi cycle tops is not printing here. Most of the altcoins, because the bottom would be a month, yeah, so it did a month after the top. Now the pi cycle top was unfortunately a bit early for the altcoins. Yeah, so the BTC dominance bottoming here shows when the altcoin stopped, as BTC took most of the market dominance. So a month after. Hopefully I can't go into like too much details there. You need to know what your plan is before that, right? So, and once again, this is just for fun, and these are quite conservative targets. If you really want to start looking for crazy targets, where's the 2.3? No. I need that one. 236. These are your more crazy targets. If we move this 236 to the top to show us where pulse chain might be going. Now these are your less conservative. These are your crazy targets, right? 20x from the sacrifice rate, 50x from the sacrifice rate, then 95x from the sacrifice rate. Now everybody wants 10,000 x's, but let's be realistic. And then 180x. Yeah, 180x from the sac rate. Thanks, dude. Good luck for the Springboks. XMPL's chart, my favorite. Thanks for the shout out, says Abit. It's a pleasure, bro. PRS. I know, I actually removed it today, as there has been FUD going around. But I looked at the chart, and I mean, the fundamentals or FUD really don't matter, right? Just look at your levels, where you are interested. Rolling over, the RSI, it could go a little bit lower. You've got a fair value gap here, so it just means they weren't really trading, it just shot up. You're gonna have the price moved through that area. So for PRS, that's almost been hit already. You wicked it down here. If we do the volume analysis, I think it was quite quickly. And I mean, this chart looks juicy, right? This is where you should be interested, these levels. And I know it looks brutal, but with a massive run up like this, I mean, the market gave you so much time to exit here. You can either catch a falling knife at this. I'm pretty sure we're already below all of these levels. This doesn't make it a scam like some people would tell you. This is just a healthy retracement after a massive run up. We found support above the 88.6 level. The granny, if she really wants to be conservative, she can wait for her higher lows to form. This is going to take a while. So if you really love this and you don't have some, or you've maybe taken some profits and you want to get some, wait for wherever this higher lows. You'll see it form, because it will get really, really boring and you'll just see the chart moving along like slowly like this. And if you zoom in, you'll see that all of these will be higher than the previous one as buyers started defending these prices. Then you can look for bullish divergences as the price goes lower, yet the indicator is making higher lows, right? But once again, these are the areas where we should be interested for the granny, right? Most of the volume was traded quite low, like at this level, and you can see the confluence at these levels. As I'm just going to paint it in manually, as it acted as resistance, 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 broke below it, resistance, finally got above it, struggled to get above it, popped up, found it as support. This is a sign of strength, and off you go. Right? So if this comes in here, great, but expect it to even come down here. That's gonna suck for you guys. But this is a reflection token, right? I think you earn pulse, so yeah, I'm not really sure how that would work, because generally the reflection tokens tends to pay you in the coin itself. So I don't know all of the fundamentals, so please don't quote me on that. There's way too many charts for me to know all of the fundamentals of each and every one of them. Okay. I know this sounds brutal and you might think that I'm nasty, but I don't hate these things. I don't date them. I just trade them, right? Let's see what you guys are saying. Moonmat says, good morning, Hexicans. Good morning to you. It's almost evening where I'm at. Can you check how high can go the Halgo and Hexpear? So I haven't checked Halgo for a while. 3k liquidity, 2k liquidity here. So this is the Hexpear. Wow, that's a lot of liquidity. So it looks a lot like the Hex chart, right? And you said you wanted to take a look at the Hexpear. Do you want to see the USD value, Biro? I mean, it looks. Is this? No, this isn't the same value as hex. But I mean, I think we talked about this beautiful market structure that you had. The lines are still here. I mean, you've broken out, right? This looks a lot like the rest of the ecosystem coins. And how high can it go? Do you want me to do the same analysis of the extensions at the top? There's your levels. 2 zeros, 1, 3, 2 zeros, 2, 2, 2 zeros, and 4, 1. This chart looks lovely, although you're very oversold, and it's probably going to be the same story because it charts with hex, right? I've read about the fundamentals, but I tend to forget these things. You had nice bullish divergences down here. No, actually didn't. Oh, no, it's from here. Very good, very bullish divergences telling you that this coin has bottomed. You could see price going lower. Nice sign for a reversal. You bottom out, boom, off you go. You had your measured move from the bottom to the top. This is already played out. We are now trending below it. Generally, when these targets get hit, just be fair, you tend to move sideways before going higher, or you top out here. So there your measured move has been hit, and down you go. Hey, what up guys? Dewey. Nice to catch you live, Dewey. Do the rewind because I'm almost done here. And yeah, so this chart looks healthy. I love the fact that it supports the ecosystem. Love that it supports hex. Now this supports p hex, obviously. There's no algo on Ethereum, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so do rewatch the video, Dewey. I want to thank all of you for coming. The altcoins are not going to be the most fun as they kind of struggle under the pressure of Pulse Chain, but that's why we take profits into Pulse, right? We want to grow our Pulse bags. If that is something that you're doing, maybe you're not going to do it. Okay, or let's do RFX for our friend Dewey. So there is a bit of competition between the two, PRS and RFX, going at each other's throats. But I have no bone in this fight. I don't have either of them. I should probably get some when it gets cheap. But I can't be chasing up this, right? Dewey, I don't want to give you financial advice, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 days up. This looks like it's starting to top up here. We've got lower highs. Let's switch to rapid pulse. This looks more like a top here. RSI has broken down. You had major bearish divergences here. As price went higher, yet the indicator went lower. If you are up in major profits, why not sell half here? If you're up on a double, get a free position in this coin. If it goes lower, you can always rebuy. Right, this is the nosebleed section for a reason. It's getting expensive here. It's getting risky, I should say. I did that wrong. Just, oh my goodness. So your point of control is slap bang inside of the reload zone. You can see how it acted as resistance. When it finally broke above it, found support on that area again, that's where I would be interested, not up here. That's 50% down from where we are currently at. Okay, well, that being said, the community seems like they're ready to push up again. People have their positions most likely, so they need to get more people in. If it counts ES from here, we can go. if it breaks out from here, it can go. It looks to me like it's already topped and it's on its way down. That's not financial advice, that's just what I think, my educated guess. Wait for the downtrend to be broken, look for a W at the other side of the downtrend. So yeah, do hit the like button, subscribe guys. I will see you in the next video in 2 days time. Cheers for now, and always play from a position of strength. Please don't get wrecked. Get your free positions in these coins and chill and relax. And bye bye.